Was this morning just drinking my coffee, my family out of town, and kind of got some peace, was able to get some reading done this morning. And just so happened, I get sent an article in my morning reading from Bruce Feldman. And I'm like, Bruce doesn't do that bad of a job at some of the articles that he does. What's he talking about here with Bryant Kelly? And then I read it. And then I see the hit piece that Bruce Feldman wrote on Bryant Kelly today. Oh, Bryant Kelly's further away from a national title than he was at LSU than what he was at Notre Dame. And it's so interesting to think about because the man criticized LSU for LSU doing some of the things that they did to Ed Orgeron. Like it's not as if Ed wasn't doing his own chaotic things when he was in the last 2 years of being the head coach at LSU. It's not like that LSU and their former and past administration wouldn't have somebody that, just was convicted for federal crimes that would put out and hint out and throw out an article to Bruce Feldman and give them a platter, an ex-player on a platter, so that they could talk ill about Bryant Kelly on the record. And all I see are all these anonymous sources in this article that I read from Bruce Feldman this morning. And I'm saying to myself, wait a minute, if a local guy ran out there with that many anonymous sources, you would kill him. But this man gets to go anonymous when he's a national guy. Why? Why? Charles Turner, who was the starting center last year, was quoted in this article from Bruce Feldman. In which he said, and I quote, Coach Kelly would tell me, hi, hey there, when he would see me in the hall and stuff like that. But we never really talked X's and O's. He let his coordinators do that. Wasn't Brian Kelly with the defense last year? Why would Brian Kelly get involved with the number one offense in the country? Why would he? If something was clearly working, why is he involved in going through X's and O's with Charles Turner? Saban isn't going through X's and O's with his center either. If he's got to go up through X's and O's with you when you're a senior, nonetheless, guys, I get that people want to throw things out about Brian Kelly. You have the right as a fan, an LSU fan, to be mad. Hell, it's your prerogative to say if you want the man fired. I think you're ludicrous if you say something like that dumb. But nevertheless, I am all about being fair. And you want to talk about Notre Dame. Guys, look how easy their schedule is. So you're mad that he's the national media who loves to take a massive dog shit on LSU every chance they get. And because LSU's not getting them anything off the court, we got to pile on here. They've had a bad season. I'm with you. Not up to their par and expectations. Are you talking about Kalen DeBoer's players pushing people, throwing mouthpieces, and the outright chaos that they've been? Why are you doing this specifically about LSU? And LSU was out of it a week ago. They're coming out of a win against Vanderbilt. Why would you do that? Now, you can say it's because he lost Bryce Underwood, whatever. There's other things he details in that article. You had one of, and arguably, the biggest weekends of upsets in college football. And your brain thought Hey, on Monday morning, we're writing a hit piece on Brian Kelly. I'm going to hear the, oh, well, it takes days to put this much content together. No, it doesn't. No, it does not. I'm in content and you're in content. If it takes you 5 days to put out an article, then you vastly have missed what your job can be. I feel like that today's Bruce Feldman story about, oh, well, is Brian Kelly losing his way? It's not easier for LSU to win. Okay. But if LSU had Notre Dame's schedule right now, they'd be 10-1. And you know that. The 2 ranked wins that Notre Dame has is Army and Navy. And you want me to come in here and say, okay, Brian Kelly has losses, but against whomst? Florida loss really doesn't look as bad today as it did 2 weeks ago. It doesn't. Or last week, I should say. It doesn't. Because they clipped Ole Miss. But the bottom line is, I'm all about being fair. And we're about to talk a lot about Brian Kelly. You know, normally we recap games, meaning we recap Vandy. We recap Louisville's not ranked. We recap Vandy or the game that we just played. I'm not doing that tonight. Normally, I come out here and we break the game down. Brian Kelly had a press conference this morning that we got to get to. Now, he made a massive statement to Tom Hart through in the telecast, and you and I had a discussion about it a lot in the postgame. A lot. So Brian Kelly talks about they're going to be, and I'm quoting, very aggressive in the portal. You better do it. Boy, good bless it, you better do it. All right, we'll get to Carter Bryant. We'll actually talk about the game with him, and we'll talk about BK's comments as well here tonight as well, and get everything that we normally do with Carter throughout the show. So looking forward to having him on. Then if we have time at the end, we'll go around college football or Ask Blake, but normally that's what we do on Mondays here. Okay. Let's see. Texas A&M wasn't ranked at the time. Maybe they'll give me Louisville. I think Louisville may have been ranked when that happened. Maybe y'all are right. They have 3 ranked wins. Their strength of schedule is 78th in the country. Notre Dame fans and media, Bud. Y'all are walking around on your high horse because you're blowing out teams on your schedule that are soft. Nobody gets to dictate Notre Dame's schedule more than Notre Dame. You're an independent in a conference, which none of you know what it's like to have your team in a conference. You don't get it. We played in the ACC that one year. Okay, whatever. Bro, y'all are playing Tomato Can State and Tomato Can Tech, and you want me to come out here and say that Notre Dame has played a schedule that's worth a damn. Y'all are doing the same exact thing for Indiana. Indiana hadn't played nobody. I mean, you can give them the A&M win in game 1 of a new head coach. That's fine. Give it to them. That makes them better than Indiana. But guys, we're going in the final week of the season, and we don't know much about Notre Dame. I feel like this is the same exact thing of old. So Notre Dame, yet again, is, in the people that cover this sport, it's like the ex that can't get over you. The ex that calls you when they're drunk at 2 a.m. Oh, Big Daddy, I need you back. At least that's what they did to me. Oh, Big Daddy, please come back. And I'm like, shoo, girl, shoo. Go on now. Because when I come home to my wife, I'm like, Daddy's home. I go full Usher. And I'm not talking about P. Diddy party Usher either. Y'all get the mind out of the gutter. Just saying, man. Just saying. All right. Let's get to it. Everybody do us a favor. Hit the like and share. Share to all those groups if you're on Facebook and to all of those social media pages. You're watching us, listening to us on YouTube. Like, subscribe, notification bell. Wherever you listen to podcasts, rate, review, and subscribe. Let's talk about our good friends over at betonline.ag, our good friends over at J&J Exterminate, and our good buddy, too, who's going to be a proud papa this upcoming year. Tyler Alexander. So we're really looking forward to I'm really excited that we have those guys. Really looking forward to this next segment. All right, let's get to it. We'll see you on the other side. Stay with us, man. Jimmy, you can hit it. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way for you to wager on all of your favorite sports, contests, events with the first-to-market odds and lines. Find reviews for all the news for each league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, college sports, esports, and even golf. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all of your sports information for live in-game betting, props, and futures. Head on over to BetOnline today and use your mobile device to join and make your first sports bet. Use our promo code BELIEVE50, that's BELIEVE50, BLEAV 50, to receive your 50% off welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's betonline.ag, betonline.ag.
He will sell your house and find you a new. Well, Tyler's the man, he's here for you. If you want to buy or sell, well, it's not too late. Dial 955-0008. Just call 955-0008. Y'all call Tyler, he'll shoot you straight.
Louisiana is unique. The food, the festivals, even the bugs. No, not mud bugs. Unwanted bugs like these. The ones you don't want crawling in your home or business. Trust the Shield from J&J Exterminating. We've been protecting Louisiana homes for over 50 years, earning the trust of our clients because we deliver what we promise. Protect your home from pests. Get the Shield from J&J Exterminating.
J&J Exterminating. Yeah.
J&J has protected Louisiana homes and businesses for over 60 years.
Call him today, make the pests go away. J&J Exterminating. Yeah.
All right. Where's my pen? There it is. All right. By the way, have y'all seen how many Notre Dame fans are in the chat right now? Have y'all seen this? Bro, literally, my point is made. Notre Dame fans are literally arguing with me on an LSU-centric show by them infiltrating it. Bro, dude, that's the point that I'm making, that you can't get over Brian Kelly. You're here to rage watch. You're here to rage watch. Oh, how bad is Brian Kelly? Let me get the info so I can find out how bad Brian Kelly is doing at LSU right now. And because maybe it's Brian Kelly saying that that they're going to be real players in the portal and they want to get evidence in case that he fails. That's probably why they're in here. All right. Let's get to it. So normally on Mondays, we break down the game that just was, and we will get to that in just a moment. But I think we got to start off tonight's show basically how we left in the postgame about the comments that Brian Kelly made to Tom Hart, who was on the call for ESPN on Saturday night. Tom Hart said, paraphrasing, that Brian Kelly tells me that they're going to be very big players in are aggressive in the portal. They're going to be big players there. Now, they just lost Bryce Underwood, but Kelly tells me that they're going to be very aggressive when it comes to the transfer portal. Then Brian Kelly, for once, was asked, hey, man, Tom Hart just, said on the telecast on Saturday that you had told him you're going to be really aggressive in the portal. Brian Kelly came out today and with 4 back-to-back questions about recruiting, said that they're going to be very aggressive. Now, you don't make that statement if you're Brian Kelly, who, let's call him what he is, at least for now, a person who is very calculated. See, I had a different report than most on this beat, even the words that came out of Brian Kelly's mouth when he said that we were not in the business of buying players. Well, guys, we pretty much know that was all bullshit when he said it, because they went out there and got Bryce Underwood, and let's call it what it is. It's now being reported that they were in a conversation, strong conversation, about Bryce Underwood and paying him the amount of money that they were going to in a 3 to 4 year span. Let's not get it twisted. He said that to save face after being in the portal last year, getting in high-profile recruitments, and backing off. Now, the excuse or strategy, whatever word you want to use, that Brian Kelly gave today about not completely attacking was because of how things have been set up and some of the things that now LSU has set up through NIL. LSU goes and hires a staff. They're able to bring in Austin Thomas and others to help raise funds through Bayou Traditions for NIL. That's how this game's working right now. Brian Kelly came out and said, well, listen, we didn't want to be over the cap necessarily, but now we have money to spend. This is how I feel in reading what Brian Kelly said in his press conference today. I feel as if that he came off to me as saying someone that's either very confident, they know that they have the funds, they know that how many funds or how much funds that they had to go spend in the portal. There are things that they want to do. There are positions that they want to go after. And I would pretty much feel that they have a pretty good understanding and feel about players that they want to go after and bring onto this team. Brian Kelly said as much because he said it's going to be a very exciting offseason, and it's going to be in a situation, or I am in a situation where I am very excited about the team that we're going to put together next year. Now, you can think him saying that is complete dog manure. I don't know how to feel about it, because I do think since you've hired Austin Thomas, we've seen Jay Johnson do what he needs to do. Now, that's not on Austin. Austin's not involved in anything baseball-wise. But NIL has been a little bit more organized in how they do things. Are you saying that to buy time? Or are you saying that because you're really going to go in the portal and bring players in here? Here's the truth. You need safeties. You need interior defensive tackles. You need a linebacker. You probably need a corner. Your best edge rusher is going into the NFL. How do you feel there? Now, there's going to be player retention involved in this. Maybe Harold Perkins does come back. Maybe he doesn't. I would tell you how I feel about what I've heard in that situation. I just don't feel like Perk comes back, to be real with you. But I also see a situation where, hey, man, in the next 2 weeks, if Harold Perkins gets to a place where he doesn't like or he's slipping down draft boards, he might come back here to collect more money and then go in the NFL. It's strategic at that point. But man, you can't make that statement and not live up to it. You can't. This is the white whale of Brian Kelly. This is either going to be that you really are going out there and being aggressive and you're bringing in dudes through the portal. Dudes. Like dudes. Not this bullshit. Not a guy from some FCS school. God, all due respect, you get what I mean. When a Jared Verse, when a Braden Fisk, when a Caleb Downs, when those dudes go in the portal, that you're winning them. When a Trey Moore goes in the portal, you're winning them. And you're winning them because you're spending. Exactly the way that Ole Miss did a year ago. There is a flaw in what Ole Miss did, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. Well, Blake, it's just what Ole Miss did. They're 9-3, or they may be 9-3 after they beat Ole, or they will be 9-3 after they beat Ole Miss this week. We'll get to this philosophy in a moment. I do think LSU is recruiting clearly at a better level right now at this given moment that through high school than what Ole Miss is doing. When Ole Miss started getting injuries and needing depth pieces, they lost. Let's call it what it is. When they faced tough physical teams and a guy went down, they didn't have the pieces. But you've been recruiting at a high level. Does some of that pay off? I don't know. What I do know is this. If you're going to do that, I think it's the best course of option for you right now. Going out and being players, putting your foot down. You've already had high-profile recruiting losses. I'm willing to take them right now because now you've gone out on the public stage and you've promised me, even though he said, he didn't say I promise, even though he is basically promising the LSU fan base that we're going to get dudes. You better hit. You better hit. Because, man, if you miss again, and that is your problem, man, we have issues. We have massive issues. And we're going to be up late nights. We're going to be having deep down conversations. But even today, Brian Kelly said that if a quarterback, we will always look at a quarterback and take a quarterback if we feel it's necessary. That's a shot at Garrett Nussmeier. That is saying to all of us, listen, Garrett didn't play good this year. We know that. But if there's a certain quarterback that goes in the portal, we might go get him. Okay? Makes sense. I think that they need a running back. I think they need a dude that can run in between the tackles. And that was Ole Miss's biggest downfall. Quinshot Judkins leaves, and they go out and get all these pieces defensively, and their defense guys have been great. Defense didn't lose in the game against Florida. Guys, in the second half, they got them 4 3-and-outs. I don't know how it's better than that. And one of them was a field goal when the drive started at their own 20. It is a program-defining statement. Nobody is happy on how this season has gone for LSU. But what you cannot do is run out there and make the statements that he did and then miss. Then you're just in a situation where, well, hey, man, you sold it. You went public with it. At least last year, we felt like you were going to get guys, but you weren't this emphatic. You weren't saying, hey, man, we're massive players here. So it's a massive statement. Now, if BK does not prevail on that, well, again, it's going to be tough conversations. This is going to be what you and I talk about for the next 2 months. Guys, after this week is over, the portal is going to open. And you and I are going to see somebody go in the portal, and you're going to send me a DM. You're going to come in the show on these comments. You're going to say, Blake, what do you think about this guy from Tomato Can State? Blake, did you see that receiver that went in to the portal from Tomato Can Tech? And I'm going to be like, let's find out. Let's go see. That ain't what Brian Kelly was talking about. What Brian Kelly was talking about is when Walter Nolan goes in the portal, he's gone. They're going to get him. But so is everybody else. You're telling the world that we're going to overspend because now you can't lose these battles. It's going to be a great day if he does it. It's going to be a bad situation if he is unable to do it. All right. Let's get to Carter Bryant. I don't know how you guys feel. It's how I feel. Well, let's Carter his thoughts in just a moment. Let me get to our good friends right quick. Let me get to a quick break. When we return, Carter joins us. Stay with us. Guys, I want to talk to you about our good friends over the Drake Williams Law Firm and Drake Title Company. Are you facing tough times due to an injury from a car accident, navigating the complexities of divorce, or purchasing a new home? At the Drake Williams Law Firm and Drake Title Company, they understand the challenges you're going through, and they are here to help. The lawyer team of Ernie Drake III, Ryan J. Williams, and Summer Vignair, along with Morgan Daniels, have the experience and proven track record to give you that peace of mind. Give them a call today at 985-386-7600. That's 985-386-7600 to schedule a free consultation at their brand new office located in historic downtown Ponchatoula. They're also doing a special, the AYS special. If you're refinancing or closing on a home in Southeast Louisiana, request the Drake Title Company to handle your closing. If you mention Blake Ruffino and AYS, you're going to receive a $400 discount on title fees. Again, give them a call at 985-386-7600. Let them know that Blake Ruffino sent you on by. Guys, you might know my good friend Carol Foss and all the great service that he provides over at State Farm. He is your good neighbor after all. But did you know State Farm has surprisingly great rates as well? Along with a great neighbor service, State Farm agent Carol Foss has surprisingly great rates for everyone inside the state of Louisiana. So call him today at 985-395-4300, 985-395-4300 for all of those surprisingly great rates on auto, home, and life insurance needs. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there, and individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to the State Farm underwriting requirements.
J&J has protected Louisiana homes and businesses for over 60 years.
Call him today, make the pests go away. J&J Exterminating. Yeah.
Carter, the Power Bryant. Good evening, good sir. How are you?
Blake, we are in trouble. We're in big trouble. Okay?
Why?
Because every Thanksgiving, I look forward to one thing. It's not eating overrated Thanksgiving food. That's not what I look forward to.
Oh, you think Thanksgiving's overrated?
It is. The food that we serve on Thanksgiving is overrated.
Well, you've been in the wrong place.
No, I mean, I eat it. It's fine. It's edible. It's great. But that's not what I look forward to on Thanksgiving. Blake, I just learned something. And I remember when this happened, I went on an app called TikTok. You heard of TikTok before?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I never posted on TikTok, but this infuriated me so much. I was like, I would post a TikTok when it came out. But it hit me like a ton of freaking bricks today.
Okay.
The Egg Bowl's not on Thanksgiving.
It's not. They moved it because Texas is an A&M.
No, they're not on Thanksgiving either.
They're not?
No, it's a Saturday. We have no SEC games on a Thursday.
Why they do that?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. The Egg Bowl on Thanksgiving was the best.
What college games are on Thursday?
Like Tulane and somebody else. Like, I don't know. It is unacceptable. It is unacceptable that we do not have an SEC rivalry on Thanksgiving. Out of all the things Sankey's done, I don't think Sankey made that choice. I think ESPN made that choice. But because they make every choice about when you play.
Yeah, because he's kind of spineless.
Especially when it comes to what the television networks want to do. I mean,
look, man, he had a whole – did you watch his interview this week?
Let me actually check this. No, I didn't. You go on. What did he say?
Did you check his press conference this week talking about officiating?
What did he say?
That they are exceptional. Oh. And then you watch the Bama game, and I'm like, bro, what? These guys aren't even full-time.
Yeah, it's a problem. It's a problem. I'm trying to think of the referee. There's one referee I like a lot who I think's good. But Autry, the fact that Autry is still out there in the wild is like just insane. Just insane.
Here's the thing, though. You came into the show and started off the show by saying Thanksgiving food is overrated. It is the most bombastic thing that you've ever said on this show. And you said some bombastic things before.
Yeah, we got into a spirited debate earlier today over the phone. But the one thing we can all agree on is the college football's best rivalry is the Egg Bowl. But now I don't want I've rescinded that statement.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, no, it is. It is.
No,
Ohio State, Michigan doesn't come close to the Egg Bowl. Iron Bowl doesn't come close to the Egg Bowl. Okay, it does not. It does not come close.
The intensity is there. I'll give you.
Yes, and this the fact that it was played on Thanksgiving, because I know this anecdotally. There are so many Mississippi college football fans whose families are like split. Like half of them are Mississippi State fans, half of them are Ole Miss fans, and I always had this visualization of them like watching the games together on Thanksgiving, hating each other. And the fact that they don't play this damn game anymore on Turkey Day, and we're just letting the NFL run amok and take over the entire day. We get 2 SEC games on Black Friday, though. Okay. Ole Miss and Mississippi State is on Black Friday. All right. And Georgia Tech. But here's a good thing is that Ole Miss and Mississippi State is going to be a blowout. Ole Miss, 26-point favorites, Blake. 26-point favorites. Crazy.
You're on this Ole Miss hype train. Let's start off tonight's show. Speaking of Ole Miss, Brian Kelly wants to duplicate what they did in the portal last year. Let me ask you this. Is Brian Kelly's comments today in his press conference about we're going to be very aggressive in the portal the biggest comments that he's given in his time at LSU? Because basically to me, you're like, hey, bro, you're telling me you're going to get Walter Nolan type dudes.
Yeah.
Like, that's what you're telling me. All right. That's a pretty big level of comment to make here. In case you miss it, I mean, I'm sure you saw it by now, but just in case, he said that they're going to be very aggressive in the portal. I mean, am I wrong in saying this, that this is pretty insane?
Yeah, so there's been a lot of Brian Kelly slander and valid arguments against him. One thing you can always say, and you know, there was a piece that was written today about him being rigid and all that stuff. Every coach is rigid in some ways, right? He's overall been, I feel, in some ways, an open-minded guy, right? He's open to analytics and fourth down decision-making and all of that. And him publicly stating that is a good thing because it is the single biggest thing that held LSU back this season, not landing any of those guys in the portal. I mean, there's so many, Blake. Like, we focus so much on Dominic Williams. There are other guys and even players who were in the portal who would DM me. All right, let's see if you remember this name, Blake. Philip Blitty.
Yeah, DT at Auburn.
Yes. Okay. From Indiana.
You want to hear another one?
Let's hear it.
CJ West.
Yes.
He was the one that made the 2 stops back-to-back against Ohio State when they stood him up at the goal line.
it is amazing, like how many SEC schools, and we focus so much on Ole Miss, but Auburn crushed it in the portal this last year. I mean, a lot of those guys hit. I mean, Auburn is such a bad team if they don't get Lambert Smith, the star wide receiver. I mean, that dude.
Well, hold on. They're 24th in the country in total defense.
Yeah, I mean, they crushed it. They absolutely annihilated the portal. I mean,
turn the ball over too much. They don't have a quarterback.
Yeah, their quarterback is just bad. And I like Peyton Thorne personally, but I mean, he's just bad. If they had better quarterback play, I mean, they would have. I mean, a lot of their metrics don't look too bad.
The 31st because we were talking about this on Fino and Joe show.
Yeah, go on.
31st in the country in total offense, 24th in the country in total defense. They're 20th in the country in run defense. So those two guys that they beat out against you on the D-line, Blitty and the other guy, I forgot his name, that is what the difference is.
It's huge. It's absolutely huge. And the funny thing about it is, like, Indiana and those schools, like Indiana and Penn State, still ended up having good seasons, but those guys made Auburn better, even though Auburn's not had as good of a season as those teams. I mean, I think what a lot of fans don't realize, Blake, is how much a good portal player moves the needle, right? Like, I was just thinking about, like, the butterfly effect of the Lambert Smith transfer, right? So this guy ended Texas A&M season with that ridiculous catch. I mean, that's just such a great catch. We kind of forget about it because of the drop. And imagine, like, Penn State, as you know, you cover college football nationally, they lack skill guys, and Lambert Smith is, like, special. Like, he's very, very, very good. And that's how much one portal player can move the needle for you. And we, quite frankly, didn't get enough needle movers in the portal. And Brian Kelly publicly admitting that and saying we're going to be very aggressive, and him being open about it was good. I give the Baton Rouge press corps a lot of credit for really pushing him, asking multiple questions, asking him to get more specific. And he started sounding like Brian Holmes of the Detroit Lions up there, talking about the cap and duplication and all those things. Those are all things you have to manage. Now, here's the big thing, Blake, about all of that. All right. Him saying all of that, and I'm not just saying this to pump sunshine and make LSU fans feel better. All right.
Now you got to go execute it.
You do. You have to go execute it. But it should also make you feel a little bit better about losing Bryce Underwood for this reason. Okay. Now that Brian Kelly publicly admits that we're going to be very aggressive in the portal, that money whatever that money you were going to actually give Bryce Underwood can go to good players in the portal now. And now that you realize that you really have to hit it, and Brian Kelly mentioned Austin Thomas by name, mentioned Frank Wilson by name, the general manager and the head recruiter, those guys have got to be crucial. I mean, absolutely crucial. That's almost as important as what you're going to do at coordinator next year. So,
you think Sloan's gone for sure?
I'd put out a 90% chance if I had to choose. It's the same thing as it's not as disastrous as offense. You look at a lot of metrics like adjusted EPA per play, which adjust your the teams that you're playing against. LSU's offense is barely outside the top 10, 15 range, just depending on which metric you look at, Blake. But Vanderbilt was the first SEC game that LSU had over 6 yards per play against, right? And I just said Jaden Daniels' all-time great offense last year. We had 7 yards per play in every game that we played last year. Okay, and we've got to be more efficient, and I do think that there will be a change. I do. Now, once again, no inside information here, no sources or anything like that, but I do think you'll see some movement there.
What happens if he misses?
Misses what?
In the portal.
Then you have to really evaluate everything at LSU.
Here's the thing for me. He can't miss now.
No.
You cannot publicly go out there and say the things that you just said. And I mean, he didn't promise, right? But he's basically promising something to the fan base and to everybody around him. We're going to go spend a lot of money to get dudes in here. If you miss, boy, because I mean, Carter, then it's going to be like, hey man, this isn't the exception, it's the rule. Right? Like you can't do it now. He can't miss. Now, can he miss on one? Sure.
Yeah.
Like if there gets a certain situation, sure. What's the position? Why are you doing it? What's the money? Okay, whatever. But man, it can't happen. If you're going up against a Miami, gotta be honest, you gotta win that one. You gotta win against these middle tier teams. The team you want to be where Miami is, right? You want to be in the top 8. That's where they are. So if you want to be there, you can't lose those battles to them. A Damian Martinez goes in the portal. With all due respect to Harlan Berry and Caden Durham, if you want to leave, let's see ya. Because Damian Martinez is a difference maker. Cam Ward goes in the portal. Carter, here's the thing. A Cam Ward, to me, okay, if you give the kid $1 million in January based off of what he's done already this year, is it worth it?
Heisman level quarterback play? Yeah. Or Heisman finalist level quarterback? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. What are we discussing? Also, secondly, we talk about Bryce Underwood and the $12 million with the incentives, really 10.5. If that kid is the next Jaden Daniels, which is what you convinced me of, then the money means nothing to me. Jaden was worth $12 million to me last year in 1 year.
Yeah. I mean, with all the everything.
So I'm just saying the level of what he's saying, I don't know if he fully understands the expectation of that, number one, at least what I interpreted it. Look, dog, Cam Ward goes in the portal. We're in there. Sorry.
So you think Cam is going to be active?
No, I'm just saying if at Cam Ward joins in the NFL.
Okay, so you were saying
that
last
scenario.
Yeah, you were saying last if we're in the and Blake.
Let me think about this. Who are some hypothetical? The Austin Simmons kid goes in the portal. Dog, we got a hard conversation. Marcel Reed. We have a hard conversation we have to have. Lenore Sellers.
That's a lot. So you take all 3 of those guys over 13.
100%. Right now?
I'm only taking
Lenore Sellers has more touchdowns in the last 2 weeks than what Garrett has in the SEC. Passing, by the way.
I'm only taking one of those 3 guys.
Who?
I won't say who. I'll let you.
Tell me who.
I'll let your imagination run wild.
No, who is it?
I would take Austin. I think Austin Simmons is really good.
Okay.
You
get my point?
I adore that guy.
Now, I said Cam Ward. Cam Ward was proven when he came in here. You get the gist of what I'm saying.
Right. But I'll tell you this, Blake. When it comes to execution, the thing is, you got to be comfortable with being uncomfortable, right? Brian Kelly worries about the locker room dynamics and this guy getting paid more and all of that. If you win, the locker room is going to be together, right? If you win, the locker room will be together. Now, are there always going to be jealous people of this guy getting this, or, we're all getting revenue sharing, but this guy gets more than me? Yeah, that's always going to exist. That's always, I wish I had an audience bigger than Josh Bates. I mean, you always look at other people's stuff around you without being a quote unquote hater, but there's always going to be people that want more money. There's always, that's going to exist. You have to be willing to be uncomfortable with that, though, right? You have to be willing with, given whatever it takes to get a defensive tackle from Indiana to come in. You don't have to worry about the feelings of the other defensive tackles because you're doing what's better for the team, right? And if you scout someone and you hear their price and you think it's worth it, do it, right? There was no reason. But I understand Ole Miss destroying us last season. They were early. They did a really good job. But I keep going back to Auburn. There was no reason for us to see them do what they did in the portal last season and not see us do what that we did, right? We didn't get enough of the guys that we knew were good players. And like one thing I thought that was very important was actually the final thing Brian Kelly said before his white meat turkey comment. He did say he believes, and I might have misheard this because I tweeted it out. I hope I'm not wrong about this. He believes C.J. Daniels is going to be back next season.
I'm going to hold off on that one.
I thought for sure he's going to the league. I thought a gazillion percent. Because I mean, Blake, he was on the second round of a lot of really good, reputable mock draft boards. I would love for him to come back. That changes a lot as far as how you feel about the room.
I could see it. I also could see him leaving. I mean, I think it dictates on what they're doing offensively and with the quarterback.
So let me ask you this.
I mean, if I'm CJ, Nuss isn't my best friend.
Yeah, he has been missed a lot. He should have at the very least 3 touchdowns. I feel bad for CJ and some of the numbers, but he's good. I mean, I really like him. I really, really, really do. Now, is he like transcendent number one option? No, but he's very, very good, and he'll be a year 6 guy if he's back next season. So he's going to be even better than what he is right now. But let me ask you this: how do you feel about this game this weekend, Oklahoma? This will be the last time I talk to you before the big game.
Yeah. I mean, what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to take the Alabama game at its word? Meaning, I'm just supposed to take everything else that Oklahoma's done this season and throw it down the toilet. They've been bad all year.
Yeah, they're bad.
Now, you can't stop a quarterback in a system where they just want to line up and run the football with the quarterback.
Yeah.
They're not going to throw the ball.
No. Especially on the road. No.
Their top 5 receivers are out in Oklahoma. Look, man, I mean, if you can't stop it this week, but then I look at this team and ask myself, like, do they care? Do they care enough during Thanksgiving week? They probably want to go home, see their family, hang out with people. You know what the Louisiana families do on Thursdays? We drink. We get around our cousins and we start drinking. I mean, that's at least what my family does. And we watch football. So we do. Dude, after lunch, everybody gets out of their nice clothes, puts on some sweats, and we're sitting there drinking and watching football all day. You think that football players are any different?
Here's my big concern, okay? Is Jalen Milroe a better quarterback than Jackson Arnold? He is, all right? But Jackson Arnold can fly. I mean, the dude is –
He can move.
He's like so good as a runner. And Milroe is not better at zone read than Jackson Arnold. I mean, that dude is so good at reading a zone read. Like, Milroe is an overall better quarterback, and he's faster. But Arnold, versus Alabama, that was insane. Like, he would make the correct read every single damn time. and he's not a good quarterback. He can throw you out of a game immediately, but LSU, like, as you know, we've not been able to stop any zone read at all. I mean, even Pavia had a deep one this past week. Now, we did some good stuff, mixing
And he's
things
the
up.
worst passing quarterback I've ever seen in the SEC.
Who, Arnold?
No, Pavia. Pavia throws ducks, dude.
Yeah, he missed a few versus the Tigers of
Yeah,
LSU. But
Mhm.
I'm just saying, like, we have struggled with Sellers and all those guys, and the difference is at this point Oklahoma doesn't even trust Arnold to throw at all. Like, Alabama still tried to throw, and
Well,
Sellers,
they have five. Their top five receivers are out
yes, and their best receiver is Sharp, number 10, their tight end, who's a good player.
from Southeastern.
Oh, he transferred from there?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that. Yeah, I was like, wow, he's a pretty solid player. And like, I've done so many film studies on Oklahoma football this season. They are a dreadful watch offensively. Dreadful.
Mm-hmm. They weren't last week.
However, they found their running back, a guy that was on practice squad earlier this season, who is mentally well put together. This is a guy who burned his red shirt for the team on a bad team. Okay. He said he went to I had Oklahoma fans explain this to me. They said he went to the coach, hey, I'll do whatever it takes. Played 2 snaps versus Texas, played 2 snaps as a true freshman. It was like, F it, let me be the guy. And he's our guy. I mean, Oklahoma's tried so many different running backs. Xavier Robinson is really good, number 21. He's got juice.
He had 2 big touchdowns this past week versus Alabama. I mean, look, man, they can run the ball. It's all they want to do on you. It's old school, baby.
Yeah.
It's old school, man. They're going to this is how I equated it to. You ready? Oklahoma is going to John Curtis you.
Oh, I like that.
They're going to John Curtis you. Okay? They're going to line up and run that thing. And then they're going to do it again. And then they're going to do it again. And then they're going to do it again. You get them in 3rd and long situations, you may be okay. Carter, I am fearful now of this game. And let me tell you what. I'm going to talk about this more on Wednesday, okay, before we, wrap everything up. Brian Kelly and SEC losses. Teams are averaging, besides Florida. Florida's the only one that this happened in. So only exception to this rule. They have given up 275 rushing yards on average. It's 270 now with the Florida laws. When they lose, it's against teams that can line up and run the ball against you. Now, to the point, I want to make something very clear. We're worried about it because Bama failed and lost. I am not a Bama apologist at all or even close. The 2 touchdowns that got erased were complete and utter horseshit by the referees. They were.
Yeah.
At worst, it should have been 24-20, 24-17, 24-21, Oklahoma, with 12 minutes left to go in the 4th quarter. I got to be real with you. I am not trying to poo-poo. Alabama made a lot of mistakes. Dog. It felt like the Mississippi State game in 2017. You remember that one? You remember when Orgeron's first year was like, yeah, Mississippi State beat us, but God, look how many times we're shooting ourselves in the foot here, or bad calls by referees. Dog, that's some bullshit.
Yeah.
Oklahoma dominated that game. The referees also screwed Bama massively, bro.
Bama was able to get vertical. They hit a deep shot to Jeremy Bernard on 3rd and Slidell. And then
he makes a wrong play. Safety comes up in the box, goes over him. I mean,
and then Ryan Williams scored a touchdown, but his heel touched like the corner of the sideline. I mean, he walked into the end zone. So Bama had some bad luck go their way. I like LSU in this matchup. Obviously, Danny Stutzman, 28 is a good linebacker. Bowman, their safety, 2 is a good player. But I think
Both Bowman brothers. The other Bowman got the pick, the first Jalen Milroe pick on the screen.
And Blake, you look at LSU. I mean, this has been some of the best defensive ends they've ever had to face this season. And Thomas, 32 for Oklahoma, is a monster. He is an absolute beast, as you know. I mean, the guy is just an animal. He's just good at everything when it comes to being a game wrecker. I really like watching him play. You admire guys from afar, and this is my first year really covering Oklahoma. They've shown me so much love on Power Hour SEC. 32 is good. Thomas. I keep forgetting his first name. The dude just is a missile. So we better be ready. Will Campbell and Emory Jones, obviously, they played some good football in that Vanderbilt game, but this is going to be a completely different task this weekend. Then, of course, got Dominic Williams. Juicy storyline here with him. So excited about DJ Chester, Paul Mabenga, and Miles Frazier. They all took steps in the right direction. Miles Frazier was incredible in particular. So
he
really
played off. Yeah.
And God, he was good. He was really good, especially, after the last month, as you know, Blake, he's been banged up, and the guy just was so good in the Vanderbilt game. So really excited.
Yeah, talking about Demonic Williams, Carter, he's a defensive tackle, and he's 5th in their team in tackles. Or total tackles at 29. Okay, he's plugging up the inside. He's a problem. And I'm just going to tell you, I have tried to be favorable to DJ and Paul. This ain't the week. This ain't the week I'm going to be favorable to him. You better get the ball out quick. A lot.
Come out pissed off. No. Get Garrett in quick catch throw situations early. Get his fat ass tired quick. Quick. Get him out of there. I'm serious. He's going to F you up. All right. Why? Look,
By the way, I got to say this about Mabenga. Mabenga had a bad game against Florida. Can't deny it at all. Did you know the Banks kid for Florida had 3 sacks against Ole Miss? The guy that Mabenga was going up against?
And then had the craziest Instagram post of all time today. What did it say?
I didn't see that. What did it say?
No, it said something. It was pretty aggressive. I liked it. I was like, well,
what did he say?
I don't remember. I remember those getting passed around. I mean, I could look it up real quick. I got it right here.
Yeah, I want to know what this guy said. I might like this kid even more now.
He said, crap, what did it? It's something on it. No, but it would live on Twitter somewhere. I can't find it. He said, or unless I'm getting him confused with another DT. But yeah, 88's for Florida is playing.
I thought Paul played a good game last week. And listen, here's the thing too. I need to throw this out there. We look at the logo on the side of the helmet for Vandy and say, "Oh, okay, well, you ran the ball against Vandy." I don't think that shit's happening. Let me tell you what is happening. Number one, you're now in the top 10 in EPA run calls. Okay, meaning against Florida and against Vandy, you're calling more run plays. So you're able to have more success. You're calling more run plays. That's why you're running the ball more. You're playing better defensive, or I say worse defensive lines. Carter, Vandy was 36th in the country coming into this game in run defense. They held Alabama to 85 rushing yards. They held Texas to 104. And LSU lined it up and ran it right at them and busted they shit wide open. That's just the truth.
Let me
They see the logo on the side of the helmet, and they don't give Vandy credit where credit's due. They don't. They hadn't all year. It's been the best defense. It's been the best thing that they do. Pavia was not the best thing that Vanderbilt did. Stopping the run was the best thing that Vandy did.
Well, let me ask you what S. Young super chatted. Okay, your overall? He had
No, it's not.
Well, let me tell you, how important do you think this game is for him?
0%.
I if you would have lost to Vanderbilt, then it's a different story. But if they lose this game, I don't know how much that changes things for LSU. Now, if you ended the season,
he just bought himself time.
Yeah.
You want me to tell you why he did? Why did he?
Now you tell me.
He came out there and said we're going to be aggressive in the portal. I'm willing to wait and see what he does.
Yeah. Now, I'm not saying I don't want them to beat Oklahoma. I might be going to the game.
I want them to beat. Well, come up if you go into the game. Come over to the house. I have some Thanksgiving food I can heat up.
Sounds scrumptious. Sounds.
I gave you Tostitos pizza before. Do you want that?
Totinos. I love
Tostitos.
it.
What did I say? Tostitos.
He said I think a Tostitos.
By the way, hold on. You want to see something delicious? Pun intended.
Let's see.
Your boy cut himself up some prime backstrap from a doe this weekend, and that is where it came out. Bambi was on the table this weekend.
I'm calling World Wildlife on you. I'm calling PETA. I'm calling all of them on you. Can't do that.
Oh, you would rather kill pets and eat steak through pets.
You
literally will rather eat moo than what God put deer on this earth to be there for.
So what's back? Is it really the back of the deer?
Yeah, it's down the spine. It's along the rib. It's like it basically, and in a lot of different ways, it's a very, very, very tender piece of meat.
Did you skin it yourself though?
Yeah.
And did you wipe the blood of the deer on your forehead?
No, you only have to do that if you've killed one. If you hadn't killed one.
Yes, but the first time you killed a deer, did you wipe the blood?
Yes.
Oh my God,
dude! I trimmed the silver skin off. Everything, bro. I made a 20-pound roast in here, or 15-pound roast. Bro. I blew those heads straight off.
How old are you?
Last weekend.
No, I'm talking about how old were you when you did the blood your first kill?
I actually did it with a squirrel. My dad made me do it with a squirrel.
Squirrel blood.
Yeah, man. You want to hear a story? This is no bullshit. Louis J. Ruffino can back this up. My dad we would go in the woods and go squirrel hunting. My dad would grab vines from trees and shake that damn vine that was normally connected to a nest, a squirrel nest.
Okay.
And man, I swear to God, as God is my witness, this man used to look at a nest and would walk past him and be like, "Hey, Dad, there's one right here." And he'd go, "Ain't no squirrels in there." I'd be like, "Come on." I go over there and shake it, and there's no squirrels in there. Man would walk up to the second nest, and he'd go, "2 of them's in there." And he'd walk over to the vine. Son Gun would start shaking that thing. Okay? 2 squirrels would pop out of it. He'd tell me and my brother, "You better be ready. You better be ready." 2 squirrels, one would go this way, one would go that way. Brett would be over here, I'd be over here. Bam, bam. 2 squirrels down. I'm not bullshitting you. As God is my witness, this would happen. Here's another time. Okay? It was just me and him. I was in high school when this one happened. Okay? I think this is the last time me and my dad actually together went like hunting. Okay. First nest that we walk up to, he goes, 3. Now, I had an old youth edition 20 gauge and only held 3 shells. 3 squirrels came out, and you can ask this man, I popped all 3 of them. Boom, boom, boom.
No, that's you didn't get all 3 on 3 shots. You're not that good. You're not that
Do you want me to call this man?
No, let him sleep.
No. Do you want me to call this man? I will call this man right now.
I don't believe, but he's biased sources. I don't believe you kill it on 3. I didn't believe.
No,
it.
Bruce Feldman has biased sources. I do not.
Look, I
swear to God this happened. I swear to God it happened. Hey, man, snapping checks and cashing checks and snapping necks. I've been out there during the Catalina wine mixer. All right. Dr. John Sibley Butler says, guys, I believe that you evaluate a coach fully only when they have excellent players, my opinion. Can we have, given the Tigers' talent, is it hard to evaluate BK this year?
Yeah, Sibley's become one of my closest friends. I love him. He's right. But part of that is on Brian Kelly. You know, that's your roster decisions matter. And look, Blake, every coach in the SEC struggles with this, picking your best players to put out there in game 1, right? But I mean, we're so deep into the season, and there's so many weaker backup level SEC links that you need to go replenish the talent. So it was good for him to publicly say it, but you're right, Sibley. I understand that Brian Kelly said, judge me on year 3, and that's get passed around a lot. But
he did, though.
He did, and he did not back it up. So year 4 is that much more pressure, and we'll
do you feel that this is a desperate move by him?
No, I mean it is because you have to be desperate at this point if you want to win over the fans. I mean, fans want you to be desperate to turn this thing around. But you know, this is what he should do. Now, here's something else I would say. All right.
Even after what happened at Ole Miss and Florida State, that's been a big question.
Yes. So if you were to ask Florida State and Ole Miss, let's just say their programs, and you could see Ole Miss just fall apart.
They only went through the portal, though. They didn't have these high school classes over years the way that LSU has.
Yeah. So that makes even more reason to go to the portal because you're just a few, and in this case, you're not a few players away. You really got to go get some guys, but you're in a better spot to do that, right?
Do you think they need a portal running back?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I think so.
Why? What's your reasoning?
All right. So you have Durham.
You'll have Barry.
Yeah. And you don't know. I don't know a gazillion % if Harlan Berry's even a running back. I know that's what he's going to go in to play, but man, I could see him being one of the best slot receivers.
He's not going to get 20 carries if you need him to.
Right. And that's part of the reason why I would want to go get.
I don't think he can get 15 carries. Not consistently. Not next year in the SEC. He can't.
No, I agree. And
JT Lindsey.
JT Lindsey's grown on me, but I do think you need to go get a portal running back.
That's where Ole Miss failed. They went on one side of the football and just went ham. The places that they missed were on unproven commodities.
And yeah, I mean, obviously, I don't know what the plan was for Logan Diggs if you knew he was going to be hurt.
No, they knew he was going to be hurt. I think he's going to redshirt and then he'll be back next year. My whole point is, we all just assumed Juice Wells was going to be good. Juice Wells has been hurt. We ain't seen him do shit.
Yeah, he's been terrible.
Yeah, he's been terrible.
Yeah, he's cost some games. Yeah.
Yeah, he has. He cost the game against you.
Yeah, no, he's terrible.
He catches that fade and they don't have to kick a field goal. We're losing the game. He drops a wide open situation where it's going to be 1st and goal from the 2. They're going to score a touchdown and you lose. By the way, they get a field goal. Garrett has to go down the field and throw the ball in the end zone to Aaron Anderson to tie it to get it to overtime.
I will also say, okay, as far as that running back room is concerned,
they're missing too many holes. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean,
and they're not feeling. They have no feel.
And there's been rumors of some volatility with the running back room as far as who's getting what. Because I was shocked they just didn't give Ulysses Bentley any carries in that Florida game, hardly. I was like,
Lane doesn't like him. Lane doesn't like him. Let's call it what it is.
He just doesn't. Like, you got to really dislike someone when your playoff is on the line and you're handing the football to a running back who weighs 180 pounds and can't break a tackle.
You're giving the ball to J.J. Pegues.
Yes.
Stupid.
A defensive tackle had more carries than the running backs.
Right. He must be like screwing up off the field. He's got to be.
Yeah, I will say
I refuse to believe that Lane Kiffin doesn't have a reason.
Well, Blake, you know how high I am on Ole Miss this season. I still think they're the best team I've seen in the SEC this season, and I
don't know about that.
Yeah, I think so. I think I would have them favored over every team in the SEC on a neutral field. I think they're going to, if they somehow find a way into the playoff, I almost made this bet today because at such long shot odds, if they magically have a crazy weekend and they get in, I think they're good enough to win it.
They're not getting in.
That's the thing. That's why their odds are so long. But college football is chaotic, right? I think they're the best 3-loss team.
I mean, they would have to have a lot of craziness in the Big Ten happen this week. A lot. Penn State and Indiana would have to go down. Purdue would have to do the funniest shit ever.
I couldn't. Purdue is so ass. They are so bad. It's shameful. It's shameful. A proud program is. I mean, they are it might be the worst Power 4 team. It would be hilarious. So I've seen crazier stuff go down.
You got chaos in the Big 12. And look, I predicted that game as clean as it was going to come out. But here's the problem that I have. Last thing before I get you out of here. Here's the problem I have. You ready?
Yeah, let's go.
I warned everybody all off season about these automatic qualifiers. Ole Miss should be in above any Big 12 team in Boise State. They should.
No.
Shows it.
No. No. You want
what?
No. I think I'm telling you, I think Ole Miss, if they got into the field, they would win the national championship. They have been
then
the best.
What are you disagreeing with?
That those conferences.
Arizona State has no business, along with Colorado, Iowa State, or anybody in the Big 12, not only getting in the playoff, but getting an automatic bye.
Now that I don't agree with. I'm not a fan of the automatic bye, but
I have no reason to get in the playoff.
I'm fine with the conference champion getting in. I'm fine.
Oh, brother, no way.
I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it. It shouldn't.
Oh, Carter, get out of here.
I'm fine with it. I don't need 6
So the
SEC
3
teams
losses
in.
that Colorado has is equivalent to what Ole Miss has.
It's not, and I would never claim it to be.
Okay. Their win over Georgia is more impressive than anything in the Big 12 has happened this year. Anything.
Yes, but Blake, that's what you get signing up to play in the SEC. You know,
bullshit.
Yes,
bullshit.
Yes.
No.
If you're getting an unreal sum of money to play in the most difficult conference, for us to have a national college football playoff, it defeats the purpose of expansion.
What's the goal? What is the goal here?
To put the best teams in college football in the playoff.
Then you cannot say that and say Ole Miss doesn't deserve to be in there above Colorado. Sorry.
I'm fine with
Colorado,
them.
here's the truth. Colorado is good in the Big 12. They are ass as a coaching staff offensively. Ass. They are horrible. They refuse to run the football. They're 133rd in the country in run offense.
Mm.
Ass.
Well, I will tell you.
I pray to God somehow, some way, Ole Miss or South Carolina or Georgia is in the situation that they got to play Big 12 Colorado. I pray to God that happens. I pray to God it happens.
I'm listening. Yeah.
It's going to be a bloodbath.
I will tell you this. I am happy the group of 5 gets.
Oh my God!
Let them in.
So Boise State gets to be in a dogfight with Wyoming, but a loss in the SEC is worse than that. Get out of here with that,
Blake. Let the small guy get in.
If you want a participation trophy, go somewhere else. Nowhere else in life, whether it be business, whatever. Nothing else in life teaches you, here's a participation trophy.
But
it's a participation trophy.
But isn't allowing a multiple loss SEC team who might be the 6th ranked SEC team?
No, Carter.
Yes.
Let's say, all right, hold on.
That's more participation trophy than being the highest.
No, it is not.
Yes, if you're the 6th ranked SEC team, that means we're getting that's including you when you finish 6th in your own conference over a team that finished 1st in the group of 5. And here's the thing. People like yourself out of the group of 5 argument. All right, here's why I'm so defensive of the group of 5 getting one team in the playoff. Okay, because group of 5 teams have been bitching about it so long. We want a seat at the table. We can give one of the 12 slots in the playoff, just one, to a group of 5 team. It's okay. Just one. Because look, we talk so much, Blake, about the damn transfer portal. All right. Group of 5 rosters, they have to battle getting rated by every single Power 4 team. That is a skill in and of itself for roster management, right? You get rated if you're a group of 5 school. So I have sympathy for that. Point. Yes. So that's an extra challenge for them to have to overcome.
It's not a bigger challenge than playing Georgia and beating them.
But my point is they don't get the chance to play Georgia during the season. So let's see what they can actually do on a bigger stage.
Listen, I love you to death. You're one of the most brilliant football minds I know. This is the thing that you're the wrong on.
In my mind that I am a gazillion % correct about this.
No, you're not.
You're talking about one seat. That's it. 1 out of 12. This isn't jury duty. This is a college football playoff. Give one seat, one freaking seat. That's all they ask.
Carter, no.
I don't.
How can you have the logic that it is our job to get the 12 best teams in and say Ole Miss or South Carolina or whatever team it is that's the team that's going to be looking from the outside in here, and you saying that, by the way, let's just say A&M upsets Texas this weekend. You're willing to put Boise State in over Texas. That is ludicrous.
Yeah, I'm fine with
Tennessee was out of the playoff last weekend. You're willing to put BYU, Arizona State, Colorado, or Boise State above them, depending on how it shakes out. That is bullshit. It's maddening. It is got to be the worst logic ever.
Okay. So here's a problem you run into, Blake. Okay. Let me ask you this. Were you pro college football playoff expansion?
No.
All right. And why?
Historically, there wasn't 4 teams that can win.
Yes. I'm anti-expansion. I honestly think if we could have a middle ground, I would just have done 6. 8 also would have made sense. 12 is too much. They're going to expand it to 14, 16 because it makes so much money. And I highly recommend everyone look up, see how much more money playoff games make than everything else. It's not even close. It's crazy. I didn't know it was that big, but it's that big. Here's the thing, though, is let's just say for some reason, and this helps my argument because, I mean, this helps me because I've been banging the table for Ole Miss saying they're the best team. I would love for them to have a seat at the table because I really do think they're the best team, but they choked, right?
Against whom, though?
Against better teams at Boise State and those teams.
Okay.
You're right. I will give you that. I will give you that. But here's what you do, though. If you start having too many SEC teams or you have too many Big Ten teams that we know are quote unquote better teams than Boise State, you start having more rematches, which is stupid.
What are you doing in the NFL all the time?
We don't want this to be the NFL. That's the great thing about college football. We do not want rematches. I hate rematches.
But I also want the best teams to get in. Indiana, outside of Ohio State, even them, they haven't faced a team with a winning record this year. The Big Ten is the second best conference. Carter, it's like us playing Mississippi State this weekend.
Okay, so let me ask you this about Indiana. All right, this will happen in every single college football season. Why? Because there's over 120 FBS teams, and you only play 13 games every season. All right, so I see this stat all the time about Indiana. I'm going to defend them here. All right. Who are the two teams that played in the national championship last year, Blake?
Indiana and Washington and Michigan.
Okay. And guess who Indiana had to play this season? Both of those teams. Now, even with all the transition that both of those programs had, did you expect Washington and Michigan to be as mediocre as they've been this season?
Yes.
Okay, but like as mid as they've been this season?
Yes. It's called Ruffino and Joe show.
Okay. Here's the thing, though. There's no way we could have known that from Indiana's vantage point.
I've not known that when I said it was happening.
Okay, but my point is Indiana just got lucky that those teams were down, all right? And guess who else got lucky that teams were down when they played them?
Who?
Texas.
Okay.
Texas had the benefit.
You're right about Texas, but here's the problem with Texas. The problem is they didn't get blown out by Georgia the way that Indiana got blown out by Ohio State. They didn't. Okay. They're about to play their second. Those games are similar. Those games are similar. Okay, well, here's the thing. They get to play a third straight or three ranked teams. They have faced teams that are above 500. Indiana has not faced a team above 500, Carter. Above 500.
But is it?
You can make this. I can make this argument. It's not fair.
Though?
It's not fair for Georgia. It's not fair for South Carolina. It's not fair for Ole Miss that the SEC on other parity in the conference is up and the Big Ten is down. And here's the thing about Michigan last year. Hold on. Here's the thing about Michigan last year. They didn't play anybody until they got to Penn State and Ohio State. And what did they do? They housed both of them too. So even when I knew they didn't play anybody, they lined up against two playoff-worthy teams and beat the dog shit out of them. So I'm like, okay, well, at least I got that answer. It's the Big Ten representative. Have at it. But what I have in Indiana is you face the low dudes on the totem pole. Carter, think about this. The second to worst team right now in the Big Ten, or the fourth worst team in the Big Ten, would be a double-digit underdog today versus Florida.
Yeah, but I mean,
They would be a touchdown down to Oklahoma. So
I don't do that. But I don't do the betting spreads thing though. I mean, I love college football betting. It's my favorite thing, but I don't.
I'm just throwing that out there, tongue in cheek.
Yeah, right.
But the SEC from a parity level is up, and the Big Ten from top to bottom is massively down. Massively. And that's why Indiana's able to do what they did. It's just the truth. And so we're playing participation trophy Olympics here by saying, well, they just won all their games. And Carter, I have a team in the SEC that if they win this weekend, 4 of the last 5 games that they've played will be against ranked opponents. South Carolina. And we're supposed to judge that what they've done is not more impressive than anybody and what anybody in the Big Ten has done.
Right.
It simply isn't.
You know, I could debate this for a gazillion years, but I do have an admission to make though. This is the longest I've ever done a segment on your show. It was the worst time to do it because I called a college basketball game earlier tonight, and I was supposed to have a gumbo dinner with my mom. 15 minutes
sorry.
Ago. Now you gotta apologize to KB. She's wondering.
Later. That's Carter the Power Bryant.
My gumbo is cold now, thanks to you, because
we
had to hear you make SEC participation trophies. We'll talk to you next week.
See you later, buddy. All right, it's Carter the Power Bryant. We're out of here too. Sorry I kept him long. Peace.